in the United States. Many of them have benefited from President
Let me know
Trump's
when y'all
tax
are back.
cuts, and they may be hesitant about new taxes or regulations. Will taxes on their small businesses go up under your administration?
No. Taxes on small business won't go up. Matter of fact, we're going to make sure there's more money available for small businesses in the Latino community and the black community to be able to get the capital to start businesses. At the Treasury Department, there's going to be a window available where we can significantly increase the amount of money available so people can borrow the money to get started. They have demonstrated they're incredibly successful. We should not be raising taxes on them. We should start rewarding work, not just wealth. That's why we have to change the tax code the way it is. That's why the wealthy have to start to pay their fair share. And that's why we have to focus on giving people the ability to garner wealth, generate wealth. And that's why this whole idea of redlining, lending to people in areas wasn't the cause of Wall Street failing. The greed of Wall Street was the reason why it occurred, not redlining. And lastly, I want to say, look, the idea of China is, in their Belt and Road proposal, they're taking the dirtiest coal in the world, mostly out of Mongolia, and spreading it around the world. It's clear. It made it clear when you called them to Washington in the first 100 days. If you continue, you will suffer severe consequences because the rest of the world will impose tariffs and on everything you're
out here getting
because you are undercutting the entire economy.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Mayor Buttigieg, will taxes on those businesses go up under you?
Not if they are small businesses. I mean, what we've got to do is level the playing field where a company like Amazon or Chevron is paying literally zero on billions of dollars in profits. And it puts small businesses like the ones that are revitalizing my own city, often Latino-owned on our west side, at a disadvantage. We need to recognize that investing in Latino entrepreneurship is not just an investment in the Latino community, it is an investment in the future of America.
I'm not super concerned. It's public video.
The value of immigration.
It's not like I have some login to get into NBC.
Communities and our country. We're getting the exact opposite message from the current president. And it is time to recognize not just the diversity of the Latino community, but the importance of issues like economic empowerment, like healthcare, as well as a tax system.
Very quickly, Senator Warren.
We have an entrepreneurship gap in America, and that is a gap between white entrepreneurs.
Wow, is this a question that Yang could have answered, or what?
And the principal reason for this is they don't have the money for equity to get the businesses started. It's about a $7 billion gap. We want to have real entrepreneurship and a level playing field. I have a plan to put the $7 billion in to have the fund managed by the people who are routinely cut out. It can't just be about taxes. We need to make an investment to level the playing field and end
I hope not, but I mean, to be honest, it's worth it. This is important for people to talk about and to watch. So.
Anyone here that started a business,
Mayor Bloomberg, you seem to imply that redlining and stopping stopping redlining is
and by the way, increase the speed of the text, which I didn't have before.
And that was the implication that came out in the quote. So I want to give you a chance to clarify this.
I've been well on the record against redlining since I worked on Wall Street. I was against it during the financial crisis. I've been against it since. The financial crisis came about because the people that took the mortgages packaged them and other people bought them. That was where all the disaster was. Redlining is still a practice.
On that real hard.
We've got to cut it out.
People are laughing at him.
It's just not true. But I was going to say, we maybe want to talk about businesses. I'm the only one here that I think that's ever started a business. Is that fair? Okay. What we need is, I can tell you,
I got him there, I guess. That was a good get.
There are mentoring programs for young business people so they can learn how to start a business. We had programs that could get them seed capital.
Okay.
We had programs to get branch banking in their neighborhoods, because if you don't have a branch bank there, you can't get a checking account. Can't get a checking account, you can't get a loan. You can't get a loan, you can't get a mortgage. Then you don't have any wealth. There's ways to fix this, and it doesn't take trillions of dollars. It takes us to focus on the problems.
Senator Sanders.
This guy saying "all right" is so irritating. Whatever commentary that of it is.
You know, when we talk about a corrupt political system bought by billionaires like Mr. Bloomberg,
get him, Bernie. Let's get him.
It manifests itself in a tax code in which not only is Amazon and many other major corporations, some owned by the wealthiest people in this country, not paying a nickel in taxes, we have the insane situation that billionaires today, if you can believe it, have an effective tax rate lower than the middle class. So
Senator,
maybe
you're
just
I agree,
tax code.
Steve.
Why are you complaining?
Stephen.
Who wrote the code?
You did. You and your campaign. Not me. You and your campaign contributions electing people who represent the wealthy and the powerful.
Yes,
those are the folks.
Democrats. Thank you.
Well, and Republicans.
The Democrats,
too.
Bernie is an
And
independent.
George
To be
W. Bush
fair,
as well.
to be fair,
Senator Klobuchar, let me address.
I was thinking
I understand
there's
that, but
gonna
Senator
be a
Klobuchar,
boxing
I may
rematch
get
on
taken down
Saturday
again,
in
by the
Vegas,
way.
and those guys
And
should go down
I
there.
appreciate
Klobuchar,
every conversation we had
I
earlier.
actually want to get you to something about
So
Senator
thank you,
Sanders tweeted,
and we'll continue this
last
every
year,
debate.
Billionaires should not exist.
Okay.
What say you?
I believe in capitalism, but I think the goal of someone in government and a president of the United States should be a check on that. I'm not going to limit what people make, but I think right now our tax code is so tilted against regular people, and that is what's wrong. I was thinking of your question about small businesses. The small businesses I talk to, they have trouble getting employees because their employees don't have child care. We should have universal child care. And we have not been talking enough about Donald Trump. And let's just talk about Donald Trump, because he signed that tax bill that helped the wealthy, and he went down to Mar-a-Lago, and he said to all his friends, you just got a lot richer. That is Exhibit A, and I can tell you the hardworking people in Nevada were not in that room. So the key to me is to not limit what people can make,
Who is
but
that
make
saying
sure
yeah?
that we have a government that is fair for everyone.
So, Senator Sanders, what did you mean that you don't think they should
I'll tell
exist?
you what I mean.
What did that mean?
We have a grotesque and immoral distribution of wealth and income. Mike Bloomberg owns more wealth than the bottom 125 million Americans. That's wrong. That's immoral. That should not be the case when we got 500,000 people sleeping out on the streets, when we have kids who cannot afford to go to college, when we have 45 million people dealing with student debt. We have enormous problems facing this country, and we cannot continue seeing a situation where in the last 3 years, billionaires in this country saw an $850 billion increase in their wealth. Congratulations, Mr. Bloomberg. But the average American last year saw less than a 1% increase in his or her income. That's
I like
wrong.
it. There we go. Direct hit at
I
Bloomberg.
can't speak for all billionaires. All I know is I've been very lucky, made a lot of money, and I'm giving it all away to make this country better. And a good chunk of it goes to the Democratic Party as well.
What?
Have you earned too much money?
A good chunk of it goes to the people that are going to put me in power.
That much money?
Yes, I worked very hard for it, and I'm giving it away.
All right. Thank you, Halleck.
Senator Sanders has a proposal that would require all large companies to turn over up to 20% of their
Thanks,
ownership
Roman.
to
Yeah,
employees
it's an
over
important
time.
conversation.
Is that a good
Listen.
idea?
I think that employee ownership of companies is a great idea. I'm not sure it makes sense to command those companies to do it. If we really want to deliver less inequality in this country, then we got to start with the tax code. And we got to start with investments in how people are able to live the American dream, which is in serious decline. Matter of fact, last time I checked, the list of countries to live out the American dream, in other words, to be born at the bottom, then come out at the top, we're not even in the top 10.
No, we're not.
Number one place to live out the American dream right now?
Norway.
Is Denmark.
Oh, yeah, no.
And
Denmark, by the
as
way, Danish, let's go.
I think lone person on this stage who's not a millionaire, let alone a billionaire, I believe that part of what needs to change is for the voices of the communities that haven't felt heard on Wall Street or in Washington to actually be brought to Capitol Hill. It's why I am building a politics designed around inclusion, designed around belonging, because the one thing that will definitely
How's that different than Bernie?
perpetuate the income inequality we're living with right now is for Donald Trump to be reelected because we polarized this country with the wrong nominee.
Senator Sanders, it's your
Thank
policy.
you. That's to me, right?
It is your policy.
Thank you. It is my policy, and I'm very proud of that policy. All right? What
Let's
we
get
need
it.
to do to deal with this grotesque level of income and wealth inequality is make sure that those people who are working, you know what, Mr. Bloomberg, it wasn't you who made all that money. Maybe your workers played some role in that as well.
Oh, that was nice.
And it is
That was sick.
important that those workers are able to share the benefits. Also, when we have so many people who go to work every day and they feel not good
That's a
about their
great
jobs. They feel like cogs in a machine. I want workers to be able to sit on corporate boards as well, so they can have some say over what happens to their lives.
Mayor Bloomberg, you own a large company. Would you support what Senator Sanders is proposing?
Absolutely not. I can't think of ways that would make it easier for Donald Trump to get reelected than listening to this conversation. It's ridiculous. We're not going to throw out capitalism. We tried that. Other countries tried that. It was called communism, and it just didn't work.
Holy shit, he equated socialism and communism.
Will work. That has not only support from a majority of Democrats, but also from a majority of independents and a majority of Republicans. And that is a 2-cent wealth tax on all fortunes above $50 million. You hit $1 billion, you got to pay a few pennies more. This is a tax on the top 0.1% in America, and it permits us to start to restructure our economy. It means we can afford universal child care for every baby in this country aged 0 to 5. It means we can have universal pre-K for every child in America. It means we can raise the wages of every child care worker and preschool teacher and stop exploiting the black and brown women who do this work. It means we can put $800 billion into our public schools, quadruple funding for Title I schools. And as a former special education teacher, we could fully fund IDEA so children with disabilities would get the full education they need. We could do college. We could put $50 billion into our historically black colleges and universities, and we could cancel student loan debt for 43 million Americans.
Thank you.
That's something a majority of Americans support, a 2-cent wealth tax. It is a question of values. Do we want to invest in Mr. Bloomberg, or do we want to invest in an entire generation of young people?
Senator Sanders, the next question is for you. Senator Sanders, in our latest NBC News Wall Street Journal poll released yesterday, 2/3 of all voters said they were uncomfortable with a socialist candidate for president. What do you say to those voters, sir?
He's not a
What was the
socialist.
result of that poll? Who was winning?
Questions to you.
Well, the question was that I was winning, and I think by a fairly comfortable margin. Mike mentioned
He's
that.
like, in
But
that same
here
poll,
is
he's
the point.
60%
Let's
favorable.
talk about democratic socialism, not communism, Mr. Bloomberg. That's a cheap shot. Let's talk about democratic. Let's talk about what goes on in countries like Denmark, where Pete correctly pointed out they have a much higher quality of life in many respects than we do. What are we talking about? We are living in many ways in a socialist society right now. Problem is, as Dr. Martin Luther King reminded us, we have socialism for the very rich, rugged individualism for the poor.
Wait a second.
Let me finish. When Donald Trump gets $800 million in tax breaks and subsidies to build luxury condominiums, that's socialism for the rich. When Walmart, we have to subsidize Walmart's workers who are on Medicaid and food stamps because the wealthiest family in America pays starvation wages. That's socialism for the rich. I believe in democratic socialism for working people, not billionaires. Health care for all, educational opportunity for all.
Senator, thank you. Mayor Bloomberg, would you like to...
And by the way, this is not angry commentary. I'm very excited to have this talk.
Socialist in the country happens to be a millionaire with 3 houses. What I miss here?
Well, you'll miss that I work in Washington, House 1.
That's the first problem.
Live in Burlington, House 2.
That's good.
And like thousands of other Vermonters, I do have a summer camp. Forgive me for that. Where is your home? Which tax haven do you have your home?
New York City, thank you very much.
Yeah, well,
and I pay all my taxes. And I'm happy to do it because I get something for it. And let me say, I thought the senator next to me was half right. I agree we should raise taxes on the... No.
I missed what he just said. Fuck. What did he just say?
But I do agree with her that the rich aren't paying their fair share. We should raise taxes on the rich. I did that as mayor in New York City. I raised taxes. And if you take a look at my plans, the first thing I would do is try to convince Congress, because they've got to do it, we can't just order it, to roll back the tax cuts that the Trump administration put in with the.
I think he'll keep
Congress.
saying he's Democratic socialist. By the way,
Vice
Steve.
President Biden, weigh in on this question of,
I'm sorry, I don't want to
Americans'
interrupt.
feeling about
One second.
socialist candidates.
Well, look, let me weigh in on, for 36 years and as vice president, I was listed as the poorest man in Congress. I made money when I wrote a book about my son, and it surprised me how much it sold. First time I ever made any money. And here's the deal. The fact is that we ought to start rewarding work, not just wealth. The idea that we have a tax rate for corporate America at 21% is ridiculous. It should be at 28%. That would raise almost $800 billion a year. The idea that we have companies not paying anything at all, they should have a minimum tax of 15%. That would raise another $740 billion a year. The idea that you're able to have a capital gains tax that you pay at the rate of 20% if you are if you are Mike Bloomberg or whomever it has a whole lot of money, and someone else is paying at your staffer is paying at 25% is wrong. That would raise another $800 billion. We should be rewarding work, not just wealth. And the American people, the middle class is getting killed, and the poor have no way up.
All right. Vice President Biden, thank you. Chuck?
Mayor Buttigieg, I want to get you in on this because, in 2000, you wrote an award-winning essay. You praised Senator Sanders. You specifically praised him for embracing socialism. You have now since said that you're concerned about his policies. But I am curious about this. Are you out of touch with your own generation, millennials? By
That's a good question.
Embrace his version of democratic
Let's see what he
socialism.
says.
You do not. Are you out of touch with your generation?
No, look, it's true that I was into Bernie before it was cool. He was thank you, congressman at the time.
Oh, man, this could be a soundbite.
Qualities I admired then are qualities I still respect a great deal. I never said that I agree with every part of his policy views, then or now, but I appreciate that at least he's straightforward and honest about them. He's honest about the fact that taxes will go up on anybody making more than $29,000 to fund his health care plan, although, again, a little bit vague about how the rest of that
You're not being honest. Premiums will be eliminated.
But you're still raising those taxes, and
but
when
we're saving people money because they don't pay any premiums, out-of-pocket expenses, co-payments, or deductibles.
That's true.
They're going to be much better off.
But where's the other $25 trillion supposed to come from? At a certain point, you got to do the math.
Well, we got it all up there on the internet. It's a payroll tax. A payroll tax.
No, but even after the payroll tax,
You're going to interrupt him from that.
We have a wealth tax. Elizabeth has a good one. Ours is a little bit tougher on Mr. Bloomberg than hers. We're going to raise it in a progressive way, which deals with income and wealth inequality, and make certain, finally, that health care in this country is a human right, not a privilege.
45 seconds. Senator Warren, I'm just going to close it out here.
Pete got shut down in that one. Pete's having a rough debate.
To call yourself a capitalist,
Yes,
to separate yourself from him. Why?
Yes, because I am. Look, Democrats want to beat Donald Trump, but they are worried. They are worried about gambling on a narrow vision that doesn't address the fear of millions of Americans across this country who see real problems and want real change. They are worried about gambling on a revolution that won't bring along a majority of this country. Amy and Joe's hearts are in the right place, but we can't be so eager to be liked by Mitch McConnell that we forget how to fight Republicans. Mayor Buttigieg has been taking money from big donors and changing his positions.
Yep.
So it makes it unclear what it is he stands
Stevie,
for.
let me know which time. At the beginning, Pete got demolished.
Senator Klobuchar, Mayor Pete, you've had it. Senator Klobuchar, go ahead. You got the floor for 45.
Thank you.
She's pissed.
Number one, I have repeatedly said that we have to win big. And the way we win big is winning states like Nevada, but also winning the Senate races in Arizona and in Colorado and beyond. And the reason we want to do that is to send Mitch McConnell packing. And I think when you look at my history, I am the one that has done that. I am the one that can lead this ticket. And just because I am willing to talk about common ground, that's where America is. It is not with Mitch McConnell, who has 400 bills on his desk.
I mean, if you have a point, I'd love to hear it.
It is because
I said at the beginning I was a Bernie supporter. I'm not pretending to be non-biased.
That's what we want in a president.
However, I'm very open to if Bernie lost on some debate.
Senator, thank you. We need to take another break here. We'll return to the
break.
Paris,
Beer
Las
time.
Vegas in
Everybody go
just
get a drink. I'm going to turn on the slider, and I'll be right back.
As parents of 6, this network is one less thing I have to worry about.
Why the Aceves family chose Verizon.
We all use our phones very differently.
These two are always gaming, and this one's always on FaceTime.
And my oldest is learning to be a pilot. We need a reliable network because I need to know he's safe. As soon as he lands, he knows he better call Mama.
Mama.
The network more people rely on gives you more. Like plans your family can mix and match starting at just $35. So everyone gets the plan they need and Apple Music on us. Plus iPhone 11 on us when you buy the latest iPhone. That's Verizon.
Exploring the heart of historic Europe with Viking, you'll get closer to iconic landmarks, to local life and legendary treasures as you sail on board our patented, award-winning Viking longships. You'll enjoy many extras, including Wi-Fi, cultural enrichment from ship to shore, and engaging excursions. Viking, voted #1 river cruise line by Condé Nast readers. Learn more at vikingcruises.com.
Read yourself past the junk, past the hashtags and the troll armies, the partisan pandering, past all the social media that's making your head feel like, past the gossip mags and millions of stories uploaded each day.
All right, guys. Sorry about the delay. Let me catch up. Disagree with Trump integration until major first got to. I don't agree with that. My Mac. Registered voter, I would say Trump is not trash. I'm here to hear the Democrats out. I'm not biased. Just so you're proving they're right. Trump hater. Okay, so I want to do real quick, just a reminder. And Steven, who's had a lot of great comments in the chat tonight. The only thing I don't like hearing is that I'm biased one way or the other. And I agree that maybe a little bit. Okay? I'm a Bernie supporter in general, but I pride myself on being kind of open to any talk. Okay? So I will admit when Bernie got bested on different points or whatever. Sure. Absolutely. I think that Pete got beat at the beginning. I think Bloomberg got crushed by several people there halfway through. I think that Klobuchar has been kind of lost. I felt like Pete looked a little bit flustered in the very beginning. I think he caught up. He looked real flustered in the beginning, and you could probably agree with that. I will also say this. I don't care if there are Trump supporters in this chat. Bernie, Pete, Amy, Bloomberg, doesn't matter. We have a good talk. That's all I ask for. We're open to different points of view. I'm open to hearing Trump supporters tell me about their story and about why they want Trump again and all this kind of stuff. We're not hateful talking on people, okay? We're just having an open conversation. There's a lot of people that are passionate in the chat, okay? Just be respectful is all I ask. That's it. You can have your point of view. No one's asking you to change. I've told you that I'm a Bernie supporter. I'm not asking you to vote Bernie. I'm not saying go vote Bernie right now. You have to, or get the fuck out of here. Anything like that. Have your points of view. Be passionate about it. The only thing I ever say, and I said this at the first break, is vote. That's it. Just vote. I don't care for who, but vote, please. Even if it's for Trump, anything. I want to see the highest voter turnout. I don't care who it's for. Be passionate about politics because it affects all of us. I think we're going back. I'll get to the chat in just a minute. Thank you guys so much for all of your comments. I'd love to talk to you on the in the Discord, in the Twitter, DMs, whatever you want. They're below this channel. Let's get back to the talk though, or let's get back to the debate.
To you. In 2018, Mayor Bloomberg was the biggest outside spender, helping Democrats running for Congress. He's also donated billions towards causes like climate change, gun safety, education. If his money wasn't a problem then, why is it a problem now?
Oh, I think he should absolutely be doing everything in his power to defeat Donald Trump. I just don't think that has to result in him becoming the president of the United States. Look, our party has values. We were built around values like making sure we protect working people. But Mayor Bloomberg opposed raising the minimum wage. Our party has a tradition that includes excellent presidents like Barack Obama, who Mayor Bloomberg opposed. At the end of the day, it's not just about how much money you've got. It's what you stand for. And we are living at a moment when Americans are so deeply frustrated with the way that both Wall Street and Washington seem to have overlooked our lives. You know, the view from the porch of my one house in Indiana is that they can't even see us.
That's awesome.
Sometimes.
I like it.
And if we're going into the election of our lives against a president who rose to power by cynically exploiting the frustration of ordinary Americans feeling like leaders weren't speaking to them, then I think that turning to someone like Mayor Bloomberg, who thinks he can buy this election, is no better a way to succeed than turning to somebody like Senator Sanders, who wants to burn the House down.
Mr. Vice President.
Whoops.
If you excuse a point of personal privilege, used to say, it was said that I was in the pocket of Mitch McConnell. I'm the only person on this stage that's beaten Mitch McConnell on 4 major cases. Let me finish. Let me finish. And Mitch McConnell, I've been the object of his affection and the president's affection. The way he's gone after me, this
I love
new
it, child.
Republican
Love
Party,
to hear it.
after me, after my son, after my family. I don't need to be told I'm a friend of Mitch McConnell's.
It's on
Mitch McConnell has been the
NBC.com.
biggest pain in my neck in a long time. And so that's number one. Number two, we have to have somebody who understands what it's like for ordinary people. Ordinary people come up. They have to understand, like my dad made that longest walk up a short flight of stairs, said, I don't have a job, honey. We have to move. You got to move with Grandpa. How long it took to buy a house. How long it took to get back in the game again. They have to understand the needs of ordinary people. And they are getting killed no matter what people say about this economy, how good it is. And the good part of the economy, it's only 60 seconds, not up yet. And the fact is that we are in a situation where you have
I agree with that eviscerations. Warren has been making really good points for Bernie, which I think is what you're saying right there. I agree with that.
$125,000 this week to keep me from being an opponent. I wonder why.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Vanessa,
And I also agree with Trump trash.
Thank you, Hollis, please. He was identifying me specifically in this.
45 seconds to you, Senator.
Responding to an accusation.
So
the
point is different. Here's what happened. According to the New York Times, the last time that Mitch McConnell was on the ballot, the vice president stood in the Oval Office and said, I hope that Mitch gets reelected so I can keep working with him. Well, Mitch did get reelected. He did not have an epiphany. Instead, he blocked nearly everything that Barack Obama tried to pass.
Did you ever
and he stole a Supreme Court seat from the Democrats, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Thank you, Senator.
Warren is killing everyone tonight, dude. I think whoever said that earlier, Warren's doing Bernie's work for him.
About 700,000 young people known as dreamers or soñadores who were brought to this country as children are currently protected from deportation because of a program that is now under the review by the Supreme Court. If the court sides with the Trump administration, which is eager to end this protection, what exactly is your plan to protect the dreamers permanently?
To win, to beat Donald Trump. The best way to protect the dreamers is to have a new president. There are the votes there to protect the dreamers. And I have been working on this since I got to the United States Senate. In my first campaign, I actually had a bunch of ads run against me because I was standing up for immigrants. And when I think of dreamers and I try to explain it to my state, I found a 99-year-old Hispanic war veteran who was a dreamer when he was brought over to this country. And back then, he just went to Canada for a night and came back, and he was a permanent citizen because they needed him to serve in World War II. Now, not so easy. The dreamers are our future. The dreamers are so important in Nevada, and the best way we can get this done is to beat Donald Trump, but it is to pass comprehensive immigration reform, which creates a path path to citizenship to so many hardworking people will bring down the deficit by $158 billion and will bring peace for these dreamers.
Thank you so much.
No other country but our own.
Thank you.
If you're going to run based on your record of voting in Washington, then you have to own those votes, especially when it comes to immigration. You voted to confirm the head of Customs and Border Protection under Trump, who was one of the architects of the family separation policy. You voted to make English the national language. Do you know the message that sends in as multilingual a state as Nevada to immigrants? You have been unusual among Democrats, I think the Democrat among all of the senators running for president, most likely to vote for Donald Trump's judges, who we know are especially hostile to dreamers and to the rights of immigrants. Now, in South Bend, it was not always easy to stand up in a conservative place like Indiana on immigration, but we delivered. We created a municipal ID program so that dreamers and others who were undocumented were able to navigate everyday life. We stood up for those rights and stood with members of our community with the message that they were as American as we are. A los soñadores hay que decir que este país es tu país también.
I wish everyone was as perfect as you, Pete, but let me tell you what it's like to be in the arena. And number one, do the math.
Dr. Disrespect Arena? Let's go, Champions Club.
In fact, I have opposed and not supported 2/3 of the Trump judges, so get your numbers right. And I am in the top 10 to 15 of opposing them. Number two, when it comes to immigration reform, the things that you are referring to, that official that you are referring to was supported by about half the Democrats, including someone in this room. And I will say this. He was highly recommended by the Obama officials. You know why? Because Trump had so few career people. I did not one bit agree with these draconian policies to separate kids from their parents. And in my first 100 days, I would immediately change that. And I would add one more thing. I have been in the arena. Ted Kennedy, he had made a pretty big allegation against me again, and I think I should have a right to respond.
I'm stating the facts because these are votes that you took. And those votes set you alone among the Democrats running for president. No other is it true or is it false that no other Democrat from the Senate running for president voted that way?
First of all, what you've said about the judges are false. You are comparing me to two colleagues up here on the stage, and you are forgetting one thing.
I would say anybody who ran for president this cycle, Senator Harris, Senator Booker, saw through this.
If you could let me finish, since I've been in the arena, Ted Kennedy asked me to work on the first immigration bill. We were able, with President Bush, to at least get that bill to a vote. I'm sorry, but Senator Sanders actually opposed that bill, and I worked on it, and if we had gotten that bill done, there would have been a path to citizenship for so many people. Then I worked on the 2013 bill. I'm actually so proud of the work I've done on immigration reform, and you know what? You have not been in the arena doing that work. You've memorized a bunch of talking points and a bunch of things, but I can tell you one thing. What the people of this country want, they want a leader that has the heart for the immigrants of this country, and that is me.
You know, maybe leading a diverse city that was facing ruin doesn't sound like the arena to you. I'm used to senators telling mayors that senators are more important than mayors, but this is the arena, too. You don't have to be in Washington to matter. You don't have to be on Capitol Hill for your work to be significant.
Guys,
the arena
we are at the end here. We are at the end here. I got to let that one go. We are less than 2 weeks away from a national primary. And I want to ask all of you this simple question. There's a very good chance none of you are going to have enough delegates to the Democratic National Convention to clinch this nomination. Okay? If that happens, I want all of your opinions on this. Should the person with the most delegates at the end of this primary season be the nominee, even if they are short of a majority? Senator Sanders, I'm going to let you go last here.
Let's hear for the candidates. Let's go.
So instead, I will start with you, Mayor Bloomberg.
Whatever the rules of the Democratic Party are, they should be followed. And if they have a process, which I believe they do,
I'm trying to do
so
this,
that
yes,
everybody else, everybody can.
So you want the convention to work its will?
Yes.
Senator Warren.
But a convention working its will means that people have the delegates that are pledged to them, and they keep those delegates until you come to the convention. All of the people.
All righty. Vice President Biden?
Play by the rules.
Yes or no? Leading person with the delegates, should they be the nominee or not?
No, let the process work its way out.
Mayor Buttigieg?
Not necessarily. Not to listen.
Senator Klobuchar?
What does this know?
Work.
Senator Sanders?
Well, the process includes 500 superdelegates on the second ballot.
Yeah.
So I think that the will of the people should prevail. Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Most votes should become the nominee.
5 no's and a yes.
We are not done yet. We're back with more from Las Vegas after a short break.
All right, guys. Short break. They're coming back. Try to finish up or whatever. What time is it? Almost 11. So how do you guys feel about who's yes or no winning this debate? How do you feel about the votes in Nevada, upcoming in South Carolina, upcoming Super Tuesday? I mean, it's coming. If you guys follow polls on 538 or Real Clear Politics, it may indicate to you that Bernie Sanders is the national leader. It may indicate that. Polls don't mean much necessarily. Nevada is notoriously, by the way, hard to poll. If you are in Nevada, please go vote. I think I like what Avidia Nirvana just said right there. Trump is winning. I don't necessarily disagree with that. As a Bernie supporter, by the way, Trump is winning right now. There's 8 people on the stage right now. There's a 9th. Tom Steyer still exists. There's 9 people that are dividing up the Democratic Party. Why are we not united? I don't know if that's what Nirvana meant to Avidia Nirvana meant to say, but that's the reality. I think that whoever wins the Democratic nomination, I think we can all agree in this chat right now, there's no easy path to the White House. None. And I'm a big Bernie guy. There's no easy path. Incumbent president, good economy. Those two crush every opponent right there. Crush it. Just be honest with yourself. That's how important your vote is. Okay? I don't care if you vote for Trump, as I said, Bernie, whoever, doesn't matter. Democratic nominee, third party, doesn't matter. Exercise your vote this election. Okay? Could be Bloomberg. Could be Biden. Could be Sanders. In my opinion, and from the polls that I've seen, Bernie has the best chance to win against Trump. From the polls. They may mean nothing from the polls. Most important is that you vote. I don't care who it is for. Vote. That's it. Most important. You know why? Because even if you lose next election, you might see some momentum. Okay? If you're a Bernie guy and we, because I'll count myself in that camp, if we lose against Trump, we got momentum now. You know why? Because Bernie started this whole thing. And I'm sorry, I'm seeing a couple of subscriptions come through. Thank you guys so much. He started this whole momentum in the left, in the Democratic Party. Got a lot of younger candidates coming up. Just get ready for it. It's going to be great. Andrew Yang is going to be in there. Guaranteed it. Tulsi, maybe. And don't tell me that nonsense about Russian agents or whatever garbage. But don't confuse yourself to think that, any nominee is going to beat Donald Trump. A Republican president in a good economy with as much media savvy as Donald Trump, do not ever think that that's a sure win. Never. Okay? That's how you lose. That's a hard opponent, and don't ever confuse it. As stupid as you think Donald Trump is, he's a great opponent in this match. Let's go back to the debate.
It's time for closing statements. Each candidate will have 1 minute, and
awesome.
we begin
Let's
with
do it.
Senator Klobuchar.
This has been quite a debate. And what I want everyone out there watching to remember is that what unites us is so much bigger than what divides us. And that we need a candidate that can bring people with her. Yes, a fired up Democratic base, but also independents and moderate Republicans. And I've done that every single time. I have won every race down to 4th grade. A lot of boasting up here, so thought I'd add that. Secondly, you need someone someone who can govern. And I have passed over 100 bills as the lead Democrat. And third, you need someone that has the heart to be the president. They were talking a lot about heart conditions up here. We have a president right now that doesn't have a heart. I love the people of this country, and I ask for the vote of the people of Nevada, because this state gets it. They get that maybe you don't agree with every single thing that's said on this debate stage, but we understand that the heart of America is bigger than any
Senator
heart that guy has in the White House. I ask you to join me at amyklobuchar.com.
Senator, thank you.
Mayor Bloomberg, to you.
Well, you can join me at MikeBloomberg.com, too, if you want, but I'm not asking for any money. Look, this is a management job, and Donald Trump's not a manager. This is a job where you have to build teams. He doesn't have a team, so he goes and makes decisions without knowing what's going on and the implications of what he does. We cannot run the railroad this way. This country has to pull together and understand that the people that we elect, and it's not just the President of the United States, they should have experience, they should have credentials, they should understand what they're doing and the implications thereof, and then we should, as a society, try to hold them accountable so the next time they go before the voters, if they haven't done the job, we shouldn't just say, oh, nice person, gives a good speech. We should say, didn't do the job, and you're out of here.
Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Mayor Buttigieg, 1 minute.
In Nevada, I'm asking for your vote because America is running out of time, and this is our only chance to defeat Donald Trump. If you look at the choice between a revolution or the status quo, and you don't see where you fit in that picture, then join us. And yes, go to peteforamerica.com and help out, because we need to draw everybody that we can who believes that we need to empower workers, who believes in climate science, who believes in doing something about gun violence, and recognizes that the only way we can do this is to create a sense of belonging in this country that moves us out of the toxic and polarized moment that we are living in today. I already see an American majority ready to do these things. Now we have a responsibility to galvanize, not polarize, that majority. We cannot afford to lean on the same Washington playbook. We cannot afford to alienate half the country. We must step forward into the future in order to win and in order to govern a country that will be facing issues the likes of which we'd barely thought of just a few years ago. I'm asking you to join me so that we can deliver that future together.
Senator Warren.
I grew up fighting. I grew up out in Oklahoma, and I learned it probably from my mother. I watched when my daddy had a heart attack and didn't have any money coming in, when our car was lost and when we were on the edge of losing our home. I watched my mother fight to save our family. And I grew up fighting to save our family, my family. I eventually made it through school and spent my life as a teacher and looking into why it is that so many families across this country are struggling and why it gets worse year after year after year. I, for years, have fought for unions to say the way we're going to restructure this economy is we're going to make it easier to join a union and get more power into unions. To fight for students who have been cut out of opportunity over and over because of the rising cost of an education. Look, for me, I am, of all the people on this stage, I've been a politician the shortest time, but I've been the one out fighting for families the longest time. I promise you this, give me a chance, I'll go to the White House, and I'll fight for your family.
Thank you, Senator.
Vice President Biden.
I'm running because so many people.
Jesus Christ, get out of the arena.
Please give us a moment. We'll clear the room and let Senator Biden, you have 1 minute.
Look, I'm running because so many people are being left behind. People I grew up with in Scranton. When my dad lost his job, lost his house, had to move. We moved to Claymont. We found ourselves in a position where we had little ability to get anything done. And my dad worked like hell. I learned a lot. I've been knocked down a whole hell of a lot. I know what it's like to be knocked down. But I know you have to get back up. We have to provide some safety and security for the American people. Right here in Nevada, the site of the most significant mass murder in American history, guns. Our kids are getting sent to school, having to hide under desks, learn how to run down corridors to avoid being shot. It's immoral. I'm the only one that's beaten the NRA nationally, and I beat them twice. With regard to health care, it also is something that is a right. Obamacare has to be expanded. It can be, in fact, cover everybody. And lastly, I think it's important that on day one, we deal with sending an immigration bill to the desk. The only person in here has the worst record on immigration is Bernie, because Bernie voted against the 2007 bill. Had, in fact, that immigration bill passed, there would be 6 million members would be now American citizens.
All right. Senator Sanders, you have 1 minute for your closing remarks.
Unfortunately, LULAC, among other groups, Latino groups, saw that bill having provisions akin to slavery, Joe. But the bottom line is all of us are united in defeating the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. That we agree on. But where we don't agree, I think, is why we are today the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people. Why 3 people own more wealth than the bottom half of America when 500,000 people sleep out on the street. Why hundreds of thousands of bright young kids can't afford to go to college and 45 million remain in student debt. Bottom line here, real change never takes place from the top on down, never takes place from an oligarchy controlled by billionaires. We need to mobilize millions of people to stand up for justice. That's our campaign. Join us at BernieSanders.com. Thank you.
Senator, thank you. Folks, thank you. That concludes tonight's debate. Our thanks to my fellow moderators, to the candidates, and of course to all of you, the audience here and at home. The Nevada caucuses are this Saturday, with the South Carolina primary just 1 week later. Then the big prize, Super Tuesday on March 3rd. We'll be following it all for you. For now, for all of us at NBC News, I'm Lester Holt. Good day.
All right, boys and girls, let's talk. All right. That was a pretty good debate. I will say a couple things. Number one, I'm a Bernie supporter. I said it earlier. That being said, I'm like screaming into the mic. That closing statement was trash. I'm a Bernie supporter. Bernie's closing statement was hot garbage. I'll give you that. It's more stump speech bullshit. I don't like it. It's not for me. He needed something new. Yeah. Let's get real, okay? A couple other things. Let me get some notes out here, and you guys can check me on it. I would love to hear about how Biden said the most significant mass murder in history was in Nevada. If anyone has a fact check on that, I would love to see that in the chat. If you guys have a run it to Google real quick, he said most significant mass murder in history was in Nevada, and then he wanted to talk about how he tried to do his thing or whatever. Now, I don't want to disclaim that it's not true. I just want a confirmation that it is true. Let me see here. Criminal justice for Bloomberg, which is kind of a joke. Pete attacking Sanders at the very beginning was really nuts. It's true. It's true. Okay, thank you so much. 2017 Las Vegas shooting. Thank you so much. Okay, there it is. I got it. Because I remember that shooting. That was with the bump stock. When the dude was in the window. This horrific bullshit. If you don't know anything about it, please don't look it up. It's gross. Don't even. It's disgusting. And a black mark on American society. Doesn't matter who's president. Doesn't matter what your standard is. Someone shooting into a is fucking disgusting. So fuck that. So yeah, he's probably right. Yeah, bump stock switch Trump banned. Okay. Hey, Onage, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Hey, there's a guy named Onage in the chat right now. If you play Apex Legends, that's the guy to follow, man. This guy is unbelievable. Check him out. I'm sorry, that was the 240B machine gun the Las Vegas shooter used. Okay. That was disgusting. Yeah. Okay, so, I made this clear a couple of times tonight. Okay. I am a fan of Bernie Sanders. I've been a fan since 2016. I support him financially, and I also volunteer for his campaign. I go out and talk to people, and I have our own sort of conversations here, but also with some youth people in different groups IRL. That being said, let me tell you, there's a lot to Bernie that you may not understand. In a couple ways we discussed earlier, there's only one candidate on the Democratic board, Democratic committee, or whatever it is of candidates that says, no, you know what? Gun manufacturers are not responsible for gun deaths or for shooting deaths. And that's Bernie Sanders. Okay? And I 100% agree with him. And by the way, I live in a very, very rural and Trump area. But there's a lot of Bernie supporters here. Because of that, there's some overlap to rational thinking, to be completely honest. It's not a Republican stance. It's a mindful stance. Mindful. Why should the manufacturers of a gun be responsible? Is the manufacturer of a car responsible for DUIs? It doesn't make any sense. The assholes shooting weapons at kids are responsible. Personal accountability, 100%, Mr. West. 100%. What are your thoughts on Bernie opposing mass immigration and losses? Boris 2008 and 2008. Explain the opposite. Mac, I'll talk to you maybe off stream. I think this is going to scroll too fast for me to comment on it, but I'd love to hear more about that. Send me a private message. Now, the one big thing that I would say about Bernie Sanders is, and my biggest, and I said that on his survey, they sent me a survey, like a pre-debate survey or something. My biggest thing is there should be no money in politics. None. And honestly, I think that's maybe where Trump and Bernie overlap again. Okay. Bloomberg should not be able to buy his way into an election. That's absurd to even think about that. It's absurd. There should be a cap on that so that regular citizens can run for office. Why should it only be the mega wealthy that can run for office? It's nonsense. This is how we get people like this, by the way. So I saw a lot of comments in the chat about Pete, about talking about how Pete looks so like he's a plant or whatever. Which I don't disagree with, but it's like this is what money gets you, man. Like, he has like 60 billionaire supporters. Biden has 50. By the way, Bernie 0. If you disagree at all, you're a Trump supporter. Fact. You know what? That's kind of a funny comment, but it's not untrue. In some ways, the Bernie supporter group in the Democratic Party is, if you don't completely agree with us, get out and you're a Trump person, which is crazy. I mean, And you would know that because Trump supporters are absolutely opposed to Bernie supporters. So it's, join Discord? Great. My Mac, I'd love to talk to you in DM if you want to send me a DM with some of those comments. I'll definitely get back to you. Definitely go Bernie for me. But as I said many times tonight, the most important thing is that you vote. It doesn't matter if you vote for Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Klobuchar, Biden, Bloomberg, Pete. Doesn't matter. The most... Steyer. I'm sorry. I don't want to leave him out. Actually, he's creepy as hell. I'm sorry. Let's all just be honest with each other for a second. Tom Steyer is like the creepiest dude in the world. Did you see him in the last debate? That dude is creepy as hell. Either way, voting is the most important thing. I don't care who it's for. Please go vote. Go early vote. Go on a primary day. Find time in your day to vote. Please, please, please. I don't care who it's for. To be completely honest, I don't care. Let's just get energized about voting. That's what this stream's about. Let's get energized about it. It means a lot. Biden is king creep. I don't know, man. Did you guys see the last debate? Last debate, Tom Steyer. If you guys didn't watch it, we streamed it live on this channel. Last debate, Tom Steyer, whenever he answered a question, was like this. He'd be like this. So, Steyer, we're going to have a question for you. What do you think about the, whatever. He's an environmental guy. So, like, what do you think about the wasteful practices of Starbucks? Oh, wait. Let me make it run. This is him, IRL. So the wasteful practices... are that we should stop throwing biodegradable cups away. That guy. Yeah, that dude is crazy. That dude's crazy. If you didn't see Tom Steyer in the last debate, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you did, rather. That dude, like, stares directly into the camera, like, doesn't blink the whole time. Like, yeah. So, I think that... That dude's nuts. Although he did give Bernie a little backing license, so what am I going to do? I've said all I can say about voting for whoever you're going to vote for. I personally back Bernie Sanders. I would love it if you voted for Bernie Sanders, but you don't have to. Vote for who you want, who inspires you. That's the biggest thing. Like, let's talk about that for a minute. For so long, I voted for people that didn't inspire me. And sometimes I was forced to vote for people who were against another candidate. I hate voting against someone. I want to believe in someone, okay? You don't have to take Mashkati's answer for this. You can go vote for whoever you like, whoever inspires you. If it's Amy, if it's Pete, if it's whoever. Just be inspired by the candidate. Don't vote off of who you want to defeat. I know there's that whole thing all out there about blue no matter who, and I don't agree with it, to be completely honest. The wheel doesn't break, right? So there's the joke from Game of Thrones, like, break the wheel and break the families or whatever. But the wheel doesn't break unless you really tilt, like flip the table over. That's the only way it happens. So vote with your heart. Vote with who matters to you. It could be Trump. Famous robot, really. It could be Trump. That's totally fine. I don't care about that. I have many good Trump supporter friends. I am one of the very, very few Bernie supporters in my area, to be honest. And I hold that like a badge of honor, by the way. I still volunteer. I still donate. I still campaign for Bernie Sanders. The only important thing is that you vote. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. Thank you guys so much for the awesome commentary. Northern Nevada voted Saturday. Please participate. Yes. No, I just saw that. Yes. If you guys want to hang out a little further, we're going to be in the Discord. You can find the link below this chat. There's a Discord link on it. There's a Twitter link. You can follow me on Twitter. But the Discord link will let us chat more lively if you'd like. I'm going to drop off the video, though. Thank you guys so much for the great conversation tonight. All the great points. Unbelievable. Every single stream is better than the last. I love it. People getting excited about politics. That's what I want to hear. Go vote, please. I'll talk to you guys soon. Either the next stream, which is on Friday in the Discord, or on Twitter. Thank you so much. Have a great night. I'll talk to you later.